What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again, and today we're going to continue on looking at the XFL, and we're going to go over the 3 new quarterbacks that have been assigned to teams. If it's your first time here, hey, glad to have you. If you're a return viewer, thanks for coming back, and thanks for watching more videos. And if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing. All right, let's not waste any more time. So let's go ahead and let's get into the content that we have for today. So we had 3 new quarterbacks that were assigned to teams right before we had the supplemental draft today. So I figured I was just going to be covering the supplemental draft. But no, we got 3 more quote-unquote Tier 1 quarterbacks that we had that were signed to, or at least assigned to different teams today. So let's go ahead and let's get into those 3. The first one, we've got Chase Litton, and then we have Taylor Heinicke, and last but definitely not least, we have Josh Johnson. Now, the funny thing about this is that these teams were assigned to the LA Wildcats, the St. Louis Battlehawks, and the Seattle Dragons. And when I looked at this, I was kind of surprised at kind of the assigning of the quarterbacks, just because I kind of figured that maybe, just maybe, that Tampa Bay would get assigned one of the quarterbacks, but they weren't, just because I don't know. Again, I don't really have a whole lot of faith in Aaron Murray. He's kind of lower on my list of quarterbacks. So I was kind of surprised that these were the teams that ended up with the quarterbacks. And I don't know, maybe these were guys that they wanted at first, but guys that pulled out, or, something of that nature. But anyways, I like it. I think that this is great. So let's go ahead and let's break these guys down and kind of where they ended up. And let's go ahead. I'm going to start with Chase Litton. So Chase Litton was drafted by the Seattle Dragons, and so he is he's a guy that he was at Marshall. And if you kind of watch some of his game tape, I'm pretty impressed with him. Watching him throw, he throws really well. He throws well on the run, pretty accurate. Now, he's not a huge speedster guy. He runs a 4.9 40. He's not really going to he can move around a little bit, and he's going to move around there. But he's mainly going to be slinging the ball around. And I think that for that kind of whole offense that they're planning on running there in Seattle, I think that he's going to be a good addition there. And I think that it's going to be a good battle between him and Brandon Silvers for the starting job there. So as we look at things, so Chase Litton, he went to Marshall, and he decided to, after his junior year, he decided to go into the NFL. And I think that was probably not the best move for him. I think it probably would have been better for him, and he probably would have had better draft stock had he stayed there another year. Because what happened is he went undrafted. Now, he went undrafted, but he was signed by the Kansas City Chiefs right away. And he was with them all through camp, and then they cut him on the final day when they had to cut down to the 53-man roster. Once they did that, though, they signed him and had him signed pretty much all the way up through camp again this year. They had him on practice squad, and then they had him again. And then he was picked up by Jacksonville for a short period of time. And I think part of the reason why we're just now seeing him, because he was released, if I'm not mistaken, just days after the initial draft for the XFL happened. So I think that they've probably been in talks with him since then and finally got something worked out. And then, they kind of announced him today. So you're going to have him and Brandon Silvers. Both of these guys are kind of 2-year guys. So both of them have a little bit of practice squad experience now. Brandon Silvers has some game experience, and so we'll see what happens with both of these guys. I'm really interested to see. Brandon Silvers obviously played in the AAF. So we'll see how Litton does. And, I think that there's definitely going to be a battle there that we're going to need to pay attention to. I think both these guys are young guys. And I think Litton, with him being on the practice squads, has probably like improved his game enough to where once he gets some playing time, he might actually do really well there in Seattle, to where that might boost him back up and to actually get on an NFL squad again, to where he's actually like on the roster, not on the practice squad. I think that'll be neat to watch and neat to see. So let's go from him and let's go to the guy that I did mention. Let's go to Taylor Heinicke. And Taylor Heinicke is one of those guys. He's kind of like Brandon Silvers in the fact that he's kind of been overlooked. He's not really anything too imposing. He's 6'1", about 200, a little over 200 pounds. He runs a 4.6 40, nothing flashy in that. Throws a decent ball. He's definitely kind of kind of one of those guys that he slung the ball around when he was at Old Dominion, and so he's kind of one of those guys that has thrown the ball around a lot, and so he's 26, so he's a little bit older than some of the other guys, but he's been around the NFL now. Let's see here. 2015 through 17. 2017 with Vikings, 2017 with the Patriots, the Texans in 17, and then last year and this year he was with the Carolina Panthers. So as you look at it, teams like him and they like what they see with him. He's not like lightning fast speed, but he's got some elusiveness to him. Like I said, he runs a 4.6 40, and so he's pretty decent speed with that. He's a little undersized for the quarterback position in the NFL. Now, granted, that doesn't really mean a whole lot. I mean, you got guys like Drew Brees and that who are balling, but he's one of those guys I think that is going to do well in the XFL, and I think he's kind of a perfect fit for the XFL. And this is going to be really interesting because he's going to be battling with Jordan Ta'amau, and we just don't know anything about Jordan Ta'amau because he really is a rookie. So between those two guys, that one's going to be. So the other battle is going to be a fun one to watch. This one's going to more have an interesting factor to me because I just don't know what to think of Jordan Ta'amau. I think he's got great potential, but I don't know if he's just going to take the reins and just be the guy, or if this is really going to now that they've got Taylor Heinicke there, that it's going to be Heinicke's team. So as I'm looking at this, I'm really trying to kind of, figure that out just because I've got really nothing pro-wise to go off of with him. So that really kind of has me a little kind of like intrigued by this one. Whereas the first one I think is definitely going to be a battle between two young quarterbacks to see who's going to be the quarterback for the season. I think that in St. Louis, this is going to be more of one to where we're going to have to see just how good the rookie is, and that it might be one of those things where you see a lot of times in the NFL, the rookie comes in not ready yet, and so you've got kind of a more veteran guy, if you want to call Taylor Heinicke a veteran guy, but a guy with a little bit more, age on him, so to say, and that with it. So, but it'll be interesting because I do think that Ta'amau is just a little bit more dynamic than Heinicke is, but as he's shown, he's very resilient, and the NFL's liked him. A lot of teams have had him on their practice squads, and he spent time with a lot of different ones. So it'll be interesting to see how that all goes. Now let's go ahead and let's move to the last one, and really he's the big name. And if you've watched my videos before, you know that I did a video of that there's two guys that I wanted the XFL to go and get. And the first one was Cardell Jones, and they got him, and I was excited about that. This was the second guy that I wanted him to get, was Josh Johnson. Now, Josh Johnson, he was allocated and sent to Los Angeles Wildcats. And this one's kind of an interesting place for me for him because he's a 4.4 guy. Now he's 29 years old. Well, how much of that 4.4 he still has left, I don't know because he's on the older end of the spectrum in this. But the guy has been with the NFL and in the NFL. He was drafted in the AAF. I think he was like the very first pick in the AAF draft, and then he was snatched up real quick by the NFL, so much so that I don't even think he really even made it to practice. I mean, the NFL snatched him up real quick, and that was the end of his AAF career. Like I said, I don't even think he made even a practice field with that. And he got signed, and he's had 3 starts under his belt, and he hasn't really done a whole lot there in the NFL, but the guy's still playing, and he's a guy that they've kept around. So he's been on a lot of different rosters, and teams just keep coming back to him, and they like what he's got. For him to fit in Norm Chow's offense is an interesting thing. I think that him signing here, he might now be the favorite for that starting job. Now, Luis Perez, I think that he's a really good talent. I just really haven't seen a whole lot from him to make me think that he's going to be QB1 come day one. I think Josh Johnson is a guy that they've been trying to get in the AAF for a while, and not the AAF, in the XFL for a while, and they finally have gotten him. I think that he's definitely going to be their starter. How well he's going to fit into this system is really the thing for me, because I don't know if if that type of an offense is really going to be kind of conducive to his to his skill set and what he's looking to do and what he's But hey, Josh Johnson, he can sling the ball down the field. He's very elusive. He can run the ball if need be, to where I think he might do all right. All right, guys, so those are kind of my thoughts. That's what I think about these 3 new quarterbacks. I think that we've got some neat quarterback competitions that are going to be coming up in these, and I think that as I'm looking at it, if I had to pick them, let's just go ahead and let's do it. I think in Seattle, I think that Chase Litton might have a slight edge there. I don't know though. I'm very hesitant to count out Brandon Silvers just because of this whole just him being resilient and that with it. But as I look at it, St. Louis, I really like the intrigue of Ta'ama'u. And so, I'm kind of still trying to see what that rookie has to do. So maybe I'll pick the rookie on that one just because I'm intrigued by him and really his skill set, that what he has. And in Los Angeles, I think that Josh Johnson will end up being the starting quarterback there now that he's there with the team. So those are my picks on who I think are going to end up being the starting quarterbacks in on those teams. Question is what do you think? What do you think about all this? Do you think that these are good pickups, or do you think that these, these guys didn't really do anything for you? Maybe you think they should have gone to different teams, that they would have been better fit and else place. Really, let me know down in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are in that, and let's have a discussion. All right, well, I know that you're busy and I know that I'm busy, so let's get on out of here. You have a good night. Bye.